Okay, this is a video to Everett of Everett's vlog, or just in general on the topic that he brought up. He said he's come, I think, to understand my relativistic and skeptical approach to things. But he mentioned that that the system I present sort of is the default view, but he's holding out for a better view, for a more concrete version of truth that doesn't resolve down to feelings ultimately, as my system really does. Now, I'm fine with my system coming down to feelings. I think it's even good news. But I appreciate when someone does not give up, because someone like you, Everett, seems to have a very good approach, more or less a skeptical approach to these issues. You're not denying the bounds that the skeptical reality places on our epistemology. You're taking them into account. So I think eventually the path that you're on, given also an honest analysis way of doing analysis, will lead you to realize that yes, skeptical relativism, this default of what we can accept, really is true, and that we're a lot better off with it than we thought. I mean, and the main issue has to do with why does somebody who believes we can be certain about knowledge, say certain about a priori truths, why is that's assumed to be a better, because it's more strict, a better requirement for knowledge. But we, if it's an illusion, first of all, it's not necessarily better. But even if it was an illusion, I mean, there's a problem with certain truths, which is that they don't evolve, they can't get better. And, they're not flexible enough to get better because they're already perfect. So, I think we're doing better than we were warned, with our skeptical epistemology. Think about the scientific revolution. I mean, what is coming along? This is a scientist. They're saying, have a skeptical approach. They end up doubting God. Even those that believed in God, because of their skeptical approach, they made no assertions really about the God. And, and the religious people told us everything was going to fall apart. But what really happened is we got, supersonic jets out of the whole exercise. It worked pretty well. We were able to get a lot of knowledge. In fact, we increased our knowledge quite a bit by adopting a skeptical epistemology. And I think that's the ultimate outcome here, is that it's actually better. And that we want to start from something that is a default, that's sort of something nobody would deny, that we have brains that are getting inputs and we're just information processing machines. We want to start from something like that people can more or less see directly, but people think, no, we have to start from something better so we can get to the goal we want, which is this certain knowledge. So we have to start from these certainties. So they create all kinds of systems that are self-causing, ideas from which flow all of this framework of knowledge. And then they're sort of okay with, we use that framework to put in all the subjective information processing, embodied mind kind of approach to looking at how humans think. And, I just think that, it's pointless trying to do that. We don't need that. I do think people are clever, and I think that even if Everett travels on a path to a destination that I've arrived at, that he won't be bringing the same things. He'll bring something additional. And also, people are clever. Maybe he will figure out how to justify this stuff, and that would be good. So it's worthwhile trying. But ultimately, with a moral question is where this is really good. If you have a moral truth, then you may not want that moral truth to be told in terms of feelings ultimately. And that's what happens in my system. Because in my system, you can make a moral argument that you shouldn't steal from the Louvre to somebody that already believes stealing is wrong. But if you get somebody who says, stealing's not wrong, then it's just a matter of how you feel about that. What are you going to do about that? If that person steals from you and you can't convince them it's wrong, you can't expect that to, if they honestly believe stealing's fine, how are you going to convince them that it's wrong? You won't. You're just going to have to be satisfied with your personal knowledge that you think it's wrong, and you're going to have to be willing to have the strength to go ahead and act on that, and stop them from stealing, or recover your stolen property, or have them arrested. And I'm fine with that. I have no fear of using feelings. I think that we should not assume that our feelings are always negative. Many of our feelings are positive. And it's no better to be a good thinker and really bad with your emotions than it is to be really good with your emotions and really bad as a thinker. So I have an integrated philosophy where we're supposed to use our reason to do basically information processing on our feelings. And our sense perceptions really are just a kind of feeling in that case, but also on what we traditionally think of as feelings. And we're supposed to get them in order, so if our feelings are painful or are just screwing up our lives because we see that we're doing something impulsively we don't really want to do, and we recognize that it's coming from some feeling or other that we have, we use our reasoning to analyze that feeling, and in that process your feelings change. And this is crucial to living a good life. So my philosophical system, embraces that. It does not separate philosophy and truth out to the side as if we can just work on that and it has nothing to do with our life. It has nothing to do with the quality of our life. It has nothing to do with how we want to live or what we're willing to fight for. And I just feel that separation is an illusion, and I'd rather integrate them. And so yeah, my system is somewhat of the default in the sense that my system starts from the parts we can't really deny. I mean, we can't deny that we seem to have perceptions and we're doing information processing on them. But arguments like about a priori knowledge, those a lot easier, a lot more to deny and argue with, and a lot more controversial. So I want to start from the so-called default, because the default is, what we get if we don't think of anything more clever. And I kind of feel like, well, we don't need anything more clever. We need something really straightforward. So we start off with this default view, and what can we build out of it? Well, it turns out we can build everything that we've built so far, because remember, we're not losing certainty. We never had certainty. We're just losing the illusion that we had certainty. And what do we replace certainty with? We replace it with approximations and methodologies meant to create progress.